Hey guys, Scott Thompson here. I reviewed Siesta Fiesta for IGN, and today we're going to take a look at a few levels and talk about what makes it such a fun and good game. Siesta Fiesta just released on the 3DS eShop last week on July 24th, and is developed by Mojo Bones. And it's sort of this new kind of modern take on the Breakout genre. And if you're not familiar with Breakout by name, I almost guarantee you've seen some interpretation of it in your local arcade or even online in some sort of flash game. Basically, you're moving a paddle around the bottom of the screen and bouncing a ball around to eliminate bricks that are suspended above you. What we're seeing here is the introductory tutorial level that'll go through some of the game's mechanics. And right now, it's very much Breakout. You're moving the bed around, bouncing the sleeping Siesta young boy whose bed has drifted into the ocean and now must, I guess, stay asleep as he bounces around on the bed. Not really clear, but hey, who cares? We're just, it's not very important to playing the game. As you might have seen, there are 3 different ways to control the bed. You can use the stylus and the touchscreen to move it around, or the circle pad and D-pad, but I actually found the stylus and touchscreen was the best way to play. It's a very good tactile feel, and I don't think there was a situation where I ever missed Siesta there because I didn't get the bed in the right place due to controls. More or less, I just sort of miscalculated where the ball was going to bounce. We do see here there's a new mechanic. Pressing A, L, or tapping the touchscreen right as the ball is about to bounce off the bed there will catapult it higher in the air and allow you to hit those suspended bricks up there. It's actually kind of a cool mechanic and introduces sort of a beat and rhythm to playing Siesta Fiesta, as you have to anticipate when the ball is going to land and then be in line where it's going to land and actually press a button or tap right at the right moment to catapult it in the air. So it's kind of cool and adds an extra layer to playing through the game. So yeah, as we watch the tutorial level wrap up here, just talk a little bit about what makes Siesta Fiesta so exciting, and that's that it kind of illustrates that there's more to be inspired from when we're looking back at retro games than 8-bit platformers. I feel like recently, with Shovel Knight, Guacamelee, other games like that, it's all about kind of capturing the former glory of the 8-bit platformer, and that's great. I mean, those games are awesome, but Siesta Fiesta does a really good job of sort of illustrating that there are other experiences to look at and other genres to draw inspiration from. This one takes Breakout from the arcade, and I think it does a really good job of not only being inspired by Breakout, but kind of taking it in new and interesting directions and combining a few different genres to make something that's actually fun and exciting. So we do here see in the final little lesson of the tutorial that there are no running live counters between levels. You do have 5 chances basically in every level to get through, and if you don't, you have to start over, which isn't too much of a penalty as the levels are, probably just a few minutes long. The only, I guess, real bad thing would be losing your score if you've done really well, and we'll see here in this first level why that is such an issue. So we will see right away here in this first level what makes Siesta Fiesta rather unique, and that's that its levels scroll from left to right. It's not a single screen like in other Breakout games where you're just trying to eliminate the rows of bricks until you, destroy them all and move on to the next level. Here, you're actually moving left to right and dealing with different obstacles as you try to rack up the most points as possible. And so it's not about eliminating all the bricks, it's more about eliminating as many as you can before they move off screen and you're on to the next set. And it's actually kind of cool. They end up feeling like small little puzzles where you're trying to figure out the best way to attack them and destroy as many as possible to get the most points possible before they're gone off screen. And you also see right now that the levels are full of life. They actually end up kind of reminding me of some of the recent Rayman games where the backgrounds are just full of characters and color, and even the music is really great. I think right now you can hear the sort of surf-inspired theme, and eventually you'll hear the Fiestas back there sort of hum along in high-pitched falsetto voices. And yeah, it's all very reminiscent of the Rayman games, and just feels really good as you're playing. And each world has its own sort of setting and theme, and the levels don't really end up feeling or looking too much alike, which is great. So yeah, we're going along here destroying all the pinata bricks that we can, and in a second here we'll see the first of many power-ups, the spring power-up. Now what this does is removes the need to tap the screen or press A or L to send the ball higher in the air. It just automatically happens. And there's a variety of power-ups actually, and they're actually really well used in the levels. There's fire power-ups that instantly incinerate bricks. You don't have to hit them more than once, as you see with some of those other ones. You have to hit them a few times to break them. There's also the ice power-up, which freezes bricks and then lets you hit them. It also slows the ball down, so it's easier to sort of know where it's going and then bounce it back in the air, which is great. And what's really cool about the power-ups is, at first they feel like rewards, but then you realize they are sort of intrinsically tied to getting high scores. And I guess what I mean about that is, let's say the fireball power-up, for instance, it burns through bricks, which is great, but in later levels there are actually water bricks, which will nullify the power-up and return you to your normal ball. So it's not so much just about blasting through the bricks as fast as you can and throwing the ball around like crazy. It's about managing that power-up, avoiding those water bricks, and sort of using it as needed. There we go, got the silver medal. You can't see it here because we have footage of the top screen, but as you're playing the level, across the bottom of the screen, there's the juice meter that fills up as you destroy bricks. So you always get the bronze medal just for playing the level. If you get a high enough score, you'll get silver, and even higher, you'll get gold. And the gold medals are downright impossible to get as you get further in the game. I mean, they require exact precision and precise bouncing of the ball, but it's actually feasible to get them with enough practice, which is great because it doesn't really feel random like other Breakout-style games. I mean, there's definitely a rhythm and a method to destroying all the bricks necessary to get the high score without hitting those hazards that will ultimately hurt or detract from your score. What we see here, though, is sort of one of Siesta Fiesta's lower points, and that's its boss battles. The bosses just sort of float around there up at the top of the screen, they all do, really, and just wait for you to destroy them. They don't attack you or really impede you in any way. I guess there's the environment there with the bumpers getting in the way, but you never really have to worry about dying unless you're really bad at bouncing the ball. It's more just a matter of time, and there is a timer at the bottom, so if you do it fast enough, you will get the gold medal or silver. Let's see what we got here. So we got silver. We did it in 50 seconds. And that's cool and all, but it would have been nice if the boss battles felt at least challenging in some way. Instead, they just feel like the regular levels, but a lot more boring because it's a single screen and just not much is going on. So now we're in the water world, and you can see here what I mentioned, the water bricks up there. And not only will they destroy the fire power-up, but they actually behave differently with the ball. So generally with these pinata bricks, they throw the ball in different directions, but we'll see here when we hit the water brick that the ball actually goes right through it. And again, it's another way to kind of have to make you be mindful as you're playing, because if you're not paying attention to the type of brick you're hitting, you won't be able to anticipate where Siesta there is going, because he just flies right through the water. And later there's different type of bricks that will catch the ball and wait for you to press a button before it'll throw the ball out, and other bricks that'll just move the ball in different directions and propel it in different ways, which is really cool. Again, it's just all about being mindful and actually having to pay attention as you're destroying these bricks. You're not just throwing the ball around as high and as fast as you can. Or, I mean, I guess you could, but then you would probably lose and wouldn't beat very many levels, because there's a lot of hazards and things you just have to be watchful for. Now, one other unfortunate thing about Siesta Fiesta is, while the point is to rack up your high scores and get your medals and everything like that, there's not really any good way to kind of show off your accomplishment. You can post screenshots to Miiverse, which is cool, but there's no leaderboard, there's no street pass functionality, so really, apart from posting screenshots, there's kind of no way to brag and show off to your friends what you've accomplished. Some leaderboards or some in-game way to directly compete with others would have been awesome, and I think would be a really great impetus for going back and perfecting these stages. Because really you can get through all of them with bronze medals in probably about 3 hours. Alright, and now we do see our first example of the skull and crossbone brick, which again is another hazard you have to watch out for, and another kind of another cool way to force the player to kind of pay attention to what he's doing. Now these bricks take points from your score, 1,000 for the little ones and 3,000 for the big ones. So again, it's just another way to make you kind of watch what you're doing and not just throw the ball as high into the air as you can and as fast as you can. It's all about managing the ball, and a lot of times it's actually easier just to keep the ball bouncing on your paddle lightly until you kind of line up your perfect shot rather than always just throwing it as high as you can into the air. So yeah, we'll actually be able to see here in a minute how those skull and crossbone bricks affected our score. We were doing pretty well, but let's see. Yeah, the bronze medal. So they sapped a lot of points from us. So it's just another cool thing to have to watch out for. And yeah, it just turns this from kind of just a mindless arcade experience into a game where you're really having to be thoughtful and careful with how you're playing. So yeah, I mean, that's Siesta Fiesta. I gave it a 7.9. I think it is a very, very good game, and a great example of drawing from other genres and gameplay styles for retro inspiration. So to read my whole review and for more on Siesta Fiesta, check out IGN.